Welcome back to Better Than 4. It's time to take to the trail with the Rough Riders, an incredible downhill club devoted to bringing disabled and able-bodied mountain bikers together on the trail. Rough Rider and Club Secretary Phil Hall talks about the club, its history, and being a downhill mountain biker on four wheels.
I had been a keen newcomer to downhill mountain biking, living out in Tenerife for 4 years, before a motorcycle crash left me paraplegic, level T12, back in autumn of 2003. After recovering from the accident in hospital back in the UK, I went looking for some kind of sport that a wheelchair user could get involved in and provide me with my fix of adrenaline. I tried many different sports, but none seemed to have the edge I yearned for, until I discovered gravity biking from seeing a poster of John Davis at a local activity centre. This set me on a mission to find out more, eventually resulting in me booking a week's holiday in Crested Butte, Colorado, on my own, to try it for myself. I loved from the first day in the bike, and, during my return flights to the UK, I decided I would set up my own club to promote the sport over here. Thus, Rough Riderz was born.
Phil found out about another disabled UK rider, Dave Bauer, who already had one of the machines. The two became fast friends, joining forces to raise awareness and accessibility to the sport in the UK. They were later joined by another friend of Phil's, Paula Longrig, who also brought her own bike. The small group began riding trails together regularly, a foreshadowing of what was to come.
During this time, we also set up a committee and registered our club with British Cycling. We then started a lot of fundraising for the club and, in late 2009, bought a club bike from R1 and set up taster days to enable other beginners to come and try the sport for themselves. I also invested my own money to purchase a suitable uplift van so we could run these days independently, as there was no infrastructure in place to allow us to do this. The whole committee have worked hard over the last few years to help get the sport more recognised and accepted in this country, working with the Forestry Commission to improve trails venues for our bikes, obtaining publicity to help increase interest and awareness, and applying for funding to help expand our project even further. This is a fully inclusive sport for a wide range of ability and disability, and can be fully integrated with the current downhill mountain bike circuit. We therefore believe that some of the UK's downhill mountain bike competitions and events could, and should, include gravity bikes too, which is our eventual aim within the club. We initially hoped to create more clubs around the UK and develop inter-club competitions at existing downhill mountain bike events, with the wider aim of creating a scene across Europe and beyond, so that the sport becomes a truly global activity, with countries forming teams to compete against each other at an international level. As the R1 bike is no longer being made, we have also started Project Gravity X, with the aim of creating a better, lighter, cheaper bike which could be marketed to potential new riders. This in turn will help with our main aims to increase the level of participation in this sport in as many areas of the world as possible.
The Rough Riders are constantly looking for new trails to take on. Currently, the club ride the Whinlatter Forest in Cumbria, AE Forest, Logan Wolf Tracks, and Fort William, a World Cup downhill mountain biking track in Scotland, as well as Antur in Wales and the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire. Although still in an early stage of development, the origins of four-wheeled mountain biking date back over 25 years.
The original incarnation of the sport goes all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s in the United States and Canada. The Cobra, a gravity four-wheeler, which was designed by the infamous John Castellano, was the first gravity machine, piloted by the equally infamous John Davis. The Cobra-Davis combination was the benchmark for the sport for many years. Davis was a staunch supporter and promoter of complete integration with the two-wheeled downhill mountain bike race scene. Davis was out there racing the same courses, racing the same race series, had the same sponsors, was in the same magazines, and generally fitting into the scene seamlessly. Then came the Grove DH1. This ride was built and designed by Bill Grove, the man who had already had success in the BMX world with the early high-class Operation Hutch. This was ridden by Stacy Cohut, the first Canadian to win a gold medal and world championship title racing in a sit ski. He started mountain bike racing against John Davis in 2000 on the then world famous Norba downhill circuit and met fellow rider Johnny Thurian at the Joyride Downhill Festival in 2000. Bill Grove then quit making his bikes and, after Stacy moved to Whistler in 2002, he and Johnny bought the rights to the Grove machine and started to adapt and improve the bike's performance, eventually setting up the R1 company. This outfit then produced the R1 4-cross bike until they ceased production earlier this year.
When the whole day's done, and then you understand, it's about being a man.
With a lot of effort and a little bit of luck, the Rough Riders hope to create their own production model and get people all over Europe and the rest of the world involved in the sport.
Don't you ever think beyond your door? What made that old man Henderson for? He laid in the trench in the rain and the sun. Oh, king and country at the end of my gun. For you it's the bling of being the one. It's nightclubs and limos and planes with the sun. And then there were none when the whole day's done. And then you understand it's about being a man. Just turned 17 once, you would have been a hero. For king and family, face your enemy, fighting till you fall. And then you understand it's about being a man. It really breaks my heart as the poppies fall. Society breeds the immaculate fool. People still moan about the sun and the rain. They can't stand for a minute for those in pain. Maybe you're young, wanna live your life.
Although the project is still in the early stages of development, it is hoped that with enough funding, a prototype machine could be ready for testing by next year, with a production model becoming available to the general public by the end of next year. In addition to this, we also recognise the need for a junior version of the new bike to be built, in order to encourage the next generation of riders to take up the challenge and keep driving the sport forward.
It's about being a man. And then there were none when the whole day's done. And then you understand it's about being a man. And then there were none when the whole day's done. And then there were none
I think we finally found the one and only exemption to the rule that 2 wheels are better than 4. We hope to see these guys hit the world stage very soon. Well, that's all we have for this week. Until next time, keep pedaling.